Assalamualaikum everyone, hope all of you are doing well. So our today's topic of discussion is communication tools. We have discussed communication so many times and communication skills. As you all know that we are the most communicative species in the world. Communication is a very dynamic process, and for that, it's not always happens itself. We actively and consciously engage in communication in order to develop the informative and understanding required for effective group functioning. Okay, so we need proper tools to make our communication effective and impressive. For example, if a carpenter use tools, he does that to make or to shape things, and in communication process the individual also uses tools and instruments to shape or to refine the process to make it more impressive. There is no end to this list, but some of verbal and non-verbal tools which we are going to discuss are language, script, visual art, body language, silence, costume, environment. These are the tools which help us to complete our communication process successfully. So the very first tool which we are going to discuss is language. Language is defined as the system of symbols which is used to convey message and information to other individuals. So language is the most effective and the most important tool of communication process. It's very easy to use. Language actually, everyone use it in their daily life as a mean to convey information and to argue with others. Language cannot be separate from the cultural. Actually, it is cultural bound. Okay, so the language represents the culture, the area, the region, person, attitudes of person or behavior of groups. So it depicts the reality. It expresses the reality of one. So people share their experiences, concerns, and beliefs, and communicate these to the next generation. And it only become possible with the help of language. So as I said earlier that the main function of the language is to communicate, that is transmitting message from one to other. It employs a combination of words to communicate ideas in a meaningful way. So language is central to our existence as humans. With language, we entertain, agitate, and encourage each other. We also build community with the help of language. Without language, we are each islands unto ourselves. Language turns us into social beings, as humans are social animals. Some argue that the capacity for the language is crucial to the runaway success of our species. Both the human brain and the language it enables help shape the world we inhabit today. There are a large number of languages in the world, so to adjust ourselves or just to be a part of some specific area, we must know the language of that specific area. So the next one is script. When the language is expressed in written format, it is known as script. Script is actually a verbal communication tool. When you are using this kind of tool in your communication process, the communication process become a little bit longer because it takes a bit time. And this group of symbols used to express language in words from ages. Okay, so the language in written form also has legal validity because you have a permanent record of it. It is also a highly essential tool of communication. There's some limitation with the script that we have to make a conscious effort to acquire knowledge because and also when you're writing something you have to put your emotion in words. So someone who is using this kind of tool have to be focused on what kind of word he is going to choose, and this consumes a lot of time. As I have said, it is also regarded as a tool of educated mass. Obviously the use of word is not a game of a simple layman. You have to get a proper knowledge to handle a script. The next one is visual art. It's include drawing, painting, sculpture. These are very interesting things. and it's a very artistic tool. And only an artist can use it, because everyone cannot be an artist, and everyone cannot have such skill to use these things to express their feelings, their emotion, or their messages. uh, Only few individuals are gifted with such creativity, and many individuals who are blessed with this creativity, they use their creativity to communicate in an artistic manner. It's like a very super cool and exclusive thing, and their creation is very stylish, and a small piece of art can convey thousands of sentences by its form, size, color, combination, shade, and so on. And those who have better understanding of these art can only get the proper message of the sender, and they express themselves, so the sender express themselves with the help of art. So the visual art not only expresses itself a message, but it also supports the oral presentation to provide greater charity and increase audience mental attention. Visual communication is the most effective way of passing information, as human mind possess things in images, and it's just to instigate the human behavior with the help of this art. And then we have body language. It's a very important non-verbal communication tool, uh, in which physical behaviors as opposed to words are used to express or convey information more clearly. It includes facial expressions, posture, gestures, movement, the way you are standing, the way you are looking. All things fall in this category. Example, if a person is presenting something on board, and the board marker is continuously he's just dropping that marker again and again, and his hand is shaking, it mean that person is pretty confused. The audience will get it in less than a moment. We have this picture to express this clearly. For example, the very first person, if I'm asking who did this, and you are pointing out to the person, this one, without saying a single word, you are just pointing out, it means you're answering my question with the help of your hand, with the help of your body movement. Okay, then I'm waving hand, it's mean hello. Then I'm just raising my hand with the full emotions and with happiness, it's mean yay, woohoo, I'm everything is fine, I'm good, I'm happy. Okay, so these things explains your emotions, your messages to the audience very clearly and instantly. So the body language is that kind of non-verbal communication, or the tool which we use is beside verbal communication, or we use with it, along it, to support our verbal language. If your body language is not matches with your words, it means you are pretty confused, or there is conflict in your mind. And in your conversation, in your communication process, if you have a good eye contact with your audience, it means you are pretty confident. And the eye contacts make feel other people like that they are heard, they are respected, and they are important. If you don't have a proper eye contact, if you have one-to-one conversation and the eye contact is not good, the other one feel that he is not respected, is not being respected. So, as we know, the body language doesn't have any grammar, so the things must be understood clearly and broadly instead of having out and out meaning. Without body cues or communication, it may be confusing. Our words must be supported by some action. Okay, whether we are using language or not, it always present in the process of communication. So when it's there, we must use it properly. The next thing is silence. Silence is also a very important, a very useful non-verbal tool of communication. Sometimes we are in position where we don't use words, or we are not in the position of using words to express our feeling, our thoughts, our anger. So we express our feeling with the help of silence. So as I said earlier, it expresses different feelings, though it includes anger, respect, commitment, contentment, thoughtfulness, sympathy, and so on. For example, the silence inside a masjid or inside a temple indicates purity. In a masjid, it feels that we are nearer to Allah Almighty. The next thing we have is costume. Costume is an integral part of culture, tradition, custom, and practice. Your dress reflects your identity, your culture, that where are you from, what's your religion is, where your roots are. Okay, it shapes your personality and individuality. For example, if I'm in a military attire, nobody would dare to mess with me on a trivial matter. Okay, they'll get or they'll know my nature from my attire, from my costume. My dress will make it clear that how I'm gonna react on certain issues, on certain topics. Okay, so we have another thing that it is said that you never have a second chance to make a first impression. So if you are going to present yourself in a on a forum, on a good forum, what you have to do is to properly dressed up, so your first impression on audience is very good. Okay, so dress is considered an aspect of nonverbal communication, and it has a social significance for audience because you are going to impress your audience with your very first look, that how you're dressed up, how you're looking. For example, Sindhi costume. Okay, we have different cultures in Pakistan, so their costume express from where the people belong. Costume not only expresses our social economic status, it also depicts our values, our characters, or attitude. Uh, for example, if you saw a woman in a public and you instantly think that she looks like a wealthy woman, how you get that image of that woman instantly? Uh, Maybe that woman would be wearing an expensive dress or wearing jewelries. So the people got biased and judgmental with these things. What we have to do to use this costume, this non-verbal communication tool properly, so we can get the deep understanding of people. With so we not have to judge the book by its cover. Okay, we have to go deep into it to get the proper understanding. The environment also plays a very important role in our communication process. It's very helpful too. It supports the whole communication process very strongly. Yeah. Many times, just reflecting to the environment, we get a lot of message. For example, if you saw a crowd somewhere and with people putting capes on their mouths and displaying some cards, flashcards, written something on it, then you'll automatically get that people are doing a silent protest. Okay, without having one-to-one conversation with any individual. So environmental context can have negative and positive effects on interpersonal communication, or it can also produce barriers. How an environment can produce barriers? Because the environmental barriers include the time, distance, noise. If you are in a noisy environment, you cannot communicate properly. So yes, environment hinders the communication process differently in a different ways. Things also affect the communication, like location, temperature, weather, time, or the day fact. Okay, so many things communicated by the environment itself. Like even I'm in a restaurant and the portion is decorated with some balloons and we have some cards and there is a decoration with candles and we have a cake. So I'll get that it's a birthday party. Not the end of the tools, but or the all things which we have discussed now just help or support or instigate the process according to our wish. So communication, the human connection, is the key to personal and career success. Thank you so much.